Okay, so this next video is kind of a fun one. I'm looking forward to this one. It's the sword trail. So I'm basically just copying another YouTube video by Prismatica Dev. He's got a weapon trails video. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my where is it? I thought I had a particles folder. I went to my content. Checked out characters, environment, third person. Interesting. Okay, so I can create a new folder called particles, and I'm going to open that up. Create another folder called sword trail. Open that up, and I'm going to right click. I'm going to create a Niagara system, and I'm going to create completely empty. This one's going to be called sword trail underscore NS for a Niagara system. Before I do anything, I want to close some of these. Okay, so I'm just going to open this up. So once I open this up, as you can see, it's completely empty. It's giving me an empty particle. So I'm just going to go here. Actually, I want to double click. Okay. Right click and rename. Called sword trail. And then under the trail, I want to get a ribbon renderer. And ribbon renderer, set material color. So I need to go back into here. I'm going to create a material. So I'll open that up. And because the sword has a bit of a like a purplish, what do you call it, a violet color, I guess. So I'm going to vector parameter, and I'm going to set it to a similar sort of color. And I'll just pop that into base. I'll get a scalar parameter. The value, I'm just going to leave it at 0, and I'm going to pop it into specular so it gets rid of the shine. There you go. So back into the particle. the material is going to be basically the sword trail that I just created. Sword trail mat. I'll have to make sure that it's selected. It has to be two-sided. Otherwise, only one side of the ribbon trail is going to be visible. Up in here, facing mode. It's going to be set to custom side vector. Initialize particle. I want to create an empty emitter actually. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so I'm gonna add some stuff here. So under emitter update, I'm gonna press the plus button and get emitter state. Under particle spawn, I'm gonna press the plus button and I'm gonna get initialize particle. And under particle update, I'm going to press the plus button and I'm going to get particle state. Okay, so all three of those have to be there. And under initialize particle, I'm going to highlight that. And lifetime is going to be 2. So I'm just basically copying all the values that I saw in that video, and I'll adjust all these values as I see fit later on. Under ribbon attributes, where are you? Ribbon attributes, oh, down here. Ribbon width mode is going to be direct set, and the value is going to be 40. So that's the width of the ribbon. So just to let you know, the ribbon is right now it's just 40, but later on in the video I'm gonna do it so that the width of the ribbon is going to be set by 2 sockets, and the 2 sockets are going to be placed on the sword. But for now, it's just going to be 40. Ribbon facing mode is going to be direct set. And then I'm going to press this here. Look at the owner system z-axis. So the reason I got the system z is because the z-axis is the up and down axis, and the ribbon is going to be like up and down. So if you can imagine like a z-axis up and down, then the ribbon's going to go across. So if the sword is like, the z represents like an upright sword, as the sword moves around, the ribbon's going to follow in that direction. Under emitter update, I'm going to press plus, spawn per frame. There's actually a good reason why it's a spawn per frame, but I forget why. I think if you use something different, then it makes it all weird. So you want the emitter to spawn the particle every frame, so that there's no discontinuity. Like, I think there's breaks in the ribbon if a different method is used or something. I'm not too sure. So at this stage, I'm going to save. I want to go here for a second, and I need to sword in hand. Use a static mesh. And the sword on back. The static mesh. So I'm going to find the models. I'll open up the sword static mesh. And socket manager. So I'll say sword socket bottom. Okay, another one called sword socket top. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin this around so it's easier to see. The bottom one is going to be at the bottom of the blade, the violet blade. And the top one, oh, I need to make sure, I'm using intervals of 10 here. I want to do 1. So that way it moves a little bit more, it snaps to like, it's basically more smooth when I move things around. That way it doesn't like jump to like 10 unit increments. So if I put it somewhere up here, then that ribbon trail is going to be that entire length of the sword. So it's going to be coming out this way or whatever direction. So I save that. And what's next? Okay, so in the female warrior blueprint, I'm gonna go over here and let's create a custom event. And it's going to be called Sword Trail Tick. And the sword trail tick is going to be constantly triggered by the event tick. So this is constantly firing. And here I'm going to get pull out. I'm going to get a component called spawn system. Oops. System attached. And I want to select the Niagara system that I just created, which is Sword Trail Niagara system. I'm going to attach to the component sword in hand. The location. So I'm going to get sword hand. Get socket location. So the socket is sword socket bottom. Let's make 2 of these. Sword socket bottom. Sword socket top. Let's move everything over to give myself more room. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these together. And then divide it by, go to right click and change this to a float, single precision, so it's just one number. I'm going to divide it by 2. So I'm getting, basically what I'm doing is the location of socket 1, socket 2. So socket 1, socket 2. I'm adding those two locations together, and I'm dividing by 2, which will give me the middle. So the middle is the location where this Niagara system spawns, and the rotation is location subtract, so location 1 minus location 2. So that gives me the middle rotation, or middle location, but from there I'm going to get make rotator from Z, and the reason why we're choosing Z is because remember which is it, particle state, update. Anyways, I forget where it was, but I remember the z-axis is the length of the sword. That's going to be plugged into the rotation. What else do I need to change here? Keep, so the location type is keep world position. And from here, I'm going to pull out of the return value, and I'm going to get a set float parameter. Set float parameter. Basically what I'm going to do here is when I subtract the two locations, I can go here and get the vector length. The vector length is the parameter. And the parameter name is trail width, but I'm forgetting where he got that, so I'm just going to pause this for a second. Okay, so I think this is right so far. I'm just going to leave it trail width. I think the thing to do next is to go back into the emitter, and then under over here, this little section, it says user exposed. I'm going to press plus, and then I'm going to get I'm going to open this up, this little triangle, and I'm going to open up common. And under common, I'm going to select float. And the name of this float is the trail width. And the trail width is this name, I believe, that he's referring to. So this, it's almost like a variable, I guess. And the initialized particle under ribbon width. I'm going to press this button here, and then I'm going to get a trail width. So instead of using that 40, the ribbon's no longer 40 units wide, it's the trail width, which is this parameter name. And the parameter is the length, I guess, of these between these 2 points. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I think I'm on the right track. So I'm just going to save everything. And I just want to see what happens if I equip the sword. So as you can see, this has a huge ribbon, and obviously it can't be this big. It just shows that the ribbon is working. If I put the sword away, I stop producing it. Oh, actually no, it keeps on producing. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do, so as you saw, when I unequip the sword, it keeps on producing the ribbon width. So I'm going to change that. The way I'm going to change that, I'm going to change that later at the very end. First, I'm going to go back into the material, and first I'm going to make this material a lot more complex. So first I need a particle relative time. I have no clue what this does, but this is what he had. And I'm going to do 1 minus, and I'm going to times it, multiply it by 2, and then I'm going to add, first I need to get a texture coordinate. I believe the value was 0.3 and 1, so just the U tiling is going to be 0.3. I'm going to get a texture sample, and this one's going to be, oh, this has to be, with this main thing selected, this has to be translucent. Oh no, sorry, not translucent, it has to be masked. I need, the texture I need for the texture sample is called cloud noise baked. I just need a noise of some sort, so I'm just going to get a really grainy noise. I think he used. I can't find one that's comparable to what he used, so what's this? I can't really see it. So it looks pretty good. Okay. Now I'm going to minus -1. I know, I forget what you do. I'm going to add these two. This one is going to go into cheap contrast. And scalar parameter value 0. So I'm just plugging in 0. And the cheap contrast is going to get plugged into a dither. So if you don't know what a dither is, basically it's if you look at a cloud, just say the edge of a cloud, usually most times like the edge of the cloud isn't sharp. It's like faded or like has like a blend. And a dither creates that by using like little like tiny, it's almost like little tiny dots or whatever. And this is what's going to be used. And this is going to go into opacity mask. So everything looks fine. Okay, everything looks good so far. I'm just going to save. Um, just going to go here as well. Save all. Okay, back into the emitter for the Niagara system. Need to go into ribbon renderer. And under UVO, which is this one here, I'm going to do the drop down. And UV mode. I drop that down and get tile by distance. Tile by distance. And I have no idea what that is. That's just what he did in his video. So this is something I'm learning as I go. I don't know a lot about particles or whatever. I know Niagara is a relatively new particle system in Unreal. So all that's good. So let's save that. I'm going to go back into this folder. Where is it? The story trail folder. And first I just want to play and see what it looks like. So if I equip the sword, you can sort of see there's like a dither, but it looks a little bit crazy. Anyways, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to this FX thing here, and I want to get Niagara module. So under advanced and Niagara, oh sorry, it's under script, not advanced. Under script, I need a Niagara module script, and I'm going to call this Niagara get speed. So you saw that the ribbon trail is like absolutely huge. This is going to adjust the speed or something. So I'm going to call this Niagara split speed NMS for a Niagara module setup. So I want to open that up. And from here, I'm going to press the plus button, and I am looking for engine owner velocity. I want to get the length. And I need to press this, and I need to get a new float. And the new float, I'm going to call it emitter speed. And the emitter speed is even right. Okay, I guess it's right. This gets plugged into here. Wait a minute. Break this link. I want to press. Oh, I want to under common. Yeah, that was right. Float. Plug that in as before. I want to select this. This selected. Module. Module locals. Local emitter speed. Right click. Change namespace to particles. So I'm going to compile. So back in the Niagara system, under particle spawn, I'm going to press the plus button, and I'm going to get speed. What's going on here? Particle spawn. So what I have to do actually is by default the library only was ticked, so I'm gonna uncheck that, and now I can for some reason access Niagara get speed. So what that is I'm referencing this Niagara get speed or the Niagara module system that I just created. So that's what that is. So the particle spawn can reference it, I guess. So another thing that I have to do is I need to press the plus button again under particle spawn, and I need to get dynamic material parameters. Parameter 00, which is this first one. I'm going to press this drop down, and then I'm going to look for speed emitter. Emitter speed. I guess it's this one. Okay, I think that's all I have to do here. I'm going to save. I need to go back into my material. I just want to see what it looks like real quick. I just want to see what all that work just did. So if okay, the ribbon is still huge. So I think it's in this material. So there's a couple things I need to change. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to unhook this. So I need, whoops. Break this link. So what I need is a node called dynamic parameter. So from this dynamic parameter, I have no idea what this is. So from parameter 1, I'm going to subtract 100. Then I'm going to divide by 1,000. Then I'm going to saturate. And this is going to be multiplied by this. And this goes back into the cheap contrast. From where is it? Multiply. Okay. So I'm gonna break this. I need to create another parameter. Similar color as this one, except this is going to be a little bit lighter. So from this multiply, I'm going to get a lerp. A lerp 2. So 2 floats. And these two colors are going to be plugged in. I don't think this is the right one. A lerp. Is it a height lerp? That's not it. So this one times this one. This is the wrong word. I actually have to double check this. Okay, so this is the wrong multiply. I'm supposed to connect it to this multiply, but this multiply doesn't get added into this A, it gets added into this alpha, and these two colors they get put into A, and the other one into B, and then this lerp gets connected to the base color as well as the emissive. I'm going to wait for that to compile. I think that's everything that he had in his video. Okay, so if I go play, if I equip the sword, it's still super long. I don't know what I forgot, but it's a nicer color. The one thing that I'm going to do is when the sorry, all this stuff, first I'll call it a sword trail. I'm only going to do this if when we got a boolean called sword is swinging. Compile. So by default it's not, so this it's false. But if it's true, then this whole thing happens. This is where the the thing that we created earlier where the Niagara system, the ribbon trail, gets attached to the sword. But this is only set true. By default it's false, but it gets set true when it's only true. I'll create a sequence here. Just move this over. When the attack button is pressed, and equip number is 1, which is when the sword is equipped. If that's true, then it goes here. So therefore, immediately, sword is swinging. Set to true. And after a delay, about 1 second, I guess the sword swing is 1 second, so this is going to be set to false. So I'm going to make a note. I'm going to put this in a box. I'll name it sword trail when swinging. See if this does anything. So there's no trail. When she swings, she trail, but the particle maybe it's the particle update. Lifetime, maybe maybe the lifetime has to be half a second. But it's still the ribbon is still visible when she's not swinging. Okay, so this thing that I just added is obviously not working, so I'm going to get rid of it. Don't need it. Then drop. This condition is not necessary, nor is this Boolean. Okay, I think I found a solution, but before I get to that, I'll just say that I made a mistake here. Originally, I had this plugged into here, but I didn't need this node. This is making the ribbon much larger than it needed to be. I'm going to get rid of all this that I added. Again, I added these again just because I want to try something, but I can get rid of the sort of swinging. Oops. So everything's the same as before. The only thing that I'm going to change is in the system update, not in this one here, but here, the system update. It says loop duration, and actually I need to make a note of this. Write this down. System update. Okay, so it's set to infinite here. I want to do it once, and instead of 5, I want to put it to like 0.5. So I want to see if this works. First I'm going to save all. So if I equip the sword, well actually what I do need is so right now it keeps on spawning. Actually I do need that after all. The sword is swinging. Branch. So if sword is swinging, then it can spawn. I'll go back here, and when the sword is swung, I'll do another sequence. Sword is swinging, set to true, and after a delay, whoops, 1 second, set to false. So I'm going to quickly check. So if I hit play, if I swing the sword, it creates the trail. And all of a sudden, the trail dies. You have to swing again. Okay, so that works now. So this is sword, swing, sword, trail, and swinging. So basically, the only way that this works is if this loop behavior is only once, it only lasts for a certain duration, because once this spawn system attached, once it creates that trail, when the player swings, that particle system is there for good. So the only way to get it to stop is to do, instead of doing infinite loop behavior, you have to do it once. And I also mentioned that, I'll just repeat myself again, instead of lifetime 2, I put it to 0.5. Yeah, so that's basically it. So this only triggers when sword is swinging. So once it swings, after the 1 second delay, sword swing is set to true. After 1 second delay, it's set to false. And once it's false, then it doesn't spawn these anymore. And then after, I guess, the 0.5 loop duration, all the existing sword swipe particles just fade away, and none are spawned again unless the player swings again, and this is set to positive, or set to true for 1 second, in which case this gets triggered again for that 1 second period. So hopefully that makes sense. I know that was kind of confusing, but I think visually it adds something to the game. I would like to explore more, because that ribbon trail, it really, really, really looks like a ribbon, and I don't think it's the best look ever. I would like to explore different kinds of weapon trails, but it's good for now. It's a good first step. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and please stay tuned for more videos.